Hey boys and girls, welcome to Munro Live. Today is prediction day. I gave a speech in Italy last year in around November or something, or October. And I talked to the supercar people, the people who make supercars. And so everybody that you can think of was there: Ferrari, Maserati, Bugatti. If they're a name with an I on the end, they probably were there, including I think McLaren was also there. At the end of the day, I gave them a prediction of what I saw in the future. Now, some of these guys already knew what I was talking about, but I don't think we've ever kind of come out and given this much information ever before in one of our YouTubes. So settle back. This is going to be kind of interesting, especially if you're on new product development. And it's kind of as a result of the Ride the Lightning video that came out. I got a lot of people asking me, are these guys crazy? Is it possible? Blah, blah. Well, you know what? It is possible. You'd be surprised all the things that are out there right now that have been out for a long time. And that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to give you a little bit of a history lesson, showing you what's been out for quite some time. And then we're going to go up to what I think is what I know is the future. So how many times have I been wrong when I predicted the future? None. None. When I predict the future, it happens. And will I be correct in all my assumptions? Maybe not. But today, you can bet on these things. So let's start off with this product right here. So Tesla is going to be creating a product. And the body of that product has been discussed, and it says that they said that they're going to put a polyurethane or polypropylene paint into the plastic, so that the plastic will always be so they won't need a paint department. This is the Club Car vehicle. We were hired by Club Car to create this vehicle. So the process behind all the new product development that we do. So we've done medical devices. I'm going to talk about knitting machines. I'm going to talk about a lot of things today. All that stuff, all of it, has one thing in common, and that's Bob, the blindfolded one-arm builder. How do I get to a point where I can do something dramatically different? Well, I have to change the rules. And if you change the rules, you'll change the results. With Bob and all the other tricks that we've got in our program, we came up and said, what is waste? What does waste mean? Well, painting is waste. That's one of the things that we say. Now, if I could make something like this without paint, would it be possible? Well, I'll tell you what. This came out in 2004. We started working on this in 1999. It would have come out in 2002, but unfortunately we had the 9/11 incident and everything was put on hold. This right here is molded in color. Molded in color. There is no paint shop. This is polypropylene, and the paint that's in it, or the coloring in it, is also polypropylene. What did we do that was special? Well, this is a golf car. This golf car sees golf balls, and when you hit it with a golf ball, it'll make a white spot maybe, but you can rub it and it'll go away. There is no dents, no dimples, and people drive these things into trees and whatnot. It'll just spring back to the way it was. This is what we made this whole car of. 2004 it was launched. It was launched in 2004. This is maybe one of the things that Tesla is doing. I actually was at the We Robot show, and I got a ride in one of the Tesla taxis or Tesla cabs or whatever you want to call it. I got a chance to go, and I knew that whatever it was that the body was made out of was pretty solid, and it was also plastic. This was not aluminum, and it sure is. It's never going to be stainless steel. Stainless steel, You could never make a car that's swoopy like that out of stainless. It just doesn't happen. So we're looking at 2004 technology, long time ago. Now, what are we looking at nowadays? When I knocked on that, basically the body of the Tesla at the cyber taxi, when I knocked on that, I knew that it rang. It's not dead flat like that. So the one that I knocked on, that was made out of carbon fiber. So instantly I started thinking about why would they make it out of carbon fiber? And the answer came back easy. It's a fast way to get a product out the door, and it'll be rugged and strong and whatnot. But it's also kind of expensive if you do it in the old-fashioned ways. So let's talk about the old-fashioned ways. So let's talk about this first, though. This is a section of a wing. This wing is rigid as you can get, and it's light as a feather. This is ultralight, okay? Ultralight. And this is kind of what we've done in the past with things like drones. We worked on the 787 quite a bit. In fact, the whole company was hired by Boeing to get it out. Alan Mulally picked us specifically to work on this because of our background and because of our ability to look at a problem in a different way. Lateral thinking was what Alan wanted, and that's what we brought to the party. Everything we touched came out less expensive and a lot lighter and easier for the operators to put together. Why? Because number one, Bob, and then number two, the rest of our process. This is expensive. These things here go for about $42 a pound for this kind of carbon fiber. But that's not the only type of carbon fiber that's out there. So let's look a little bit further down the line here, and let's look at this. So this is the 2014 body for the BMW i3. In its day, it was unbelievable. It was way ahead of everybody else. What did they do? Well, they used a technique to build each individual component using pre-preg layups, and then they cured them, and then they put out, they put them together basically using special types of adhesives and special types of curing processes. Most of them were light, some of them were heat. At the end of the day, this type of structure is wicked strong. And in fact, this is a corner that you would find if you were building a carbon fiber bridge. And occasionally you want to try and get into something like that because of the need, if you like, to keep the bridge light. So you look at this and you look at this, and like I said, this is like amazing good stuff. These things had a 4.5-star crash rating. I mean, we were totally blown away by what was going on here. But that was in 2014. That's a long time ago. Now, I'm going to talk about the body, but I'm also going to talk about what else I'm guessing at or feel strongly about. This body that was made in 2014, which is 11 years ago, I think it was great in its day. But this casting has been sitting on my floor for about 15 years, longer than that body. This is what I think their frame is going to look like, something like this. So we've got a body at Tesla that I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the type of carbon fiber process they're using, but I think it's going to be sitting on some kind of a casting because when I stuck my hand in, the rocker that I felt didn't feel like an extrusion. So let's say that it's got some kind of carbon fiber because I rattled it with my thumb or my knuckle and it rang. And what I kind of guessed at and what I had my fingers on felt like it might have been a casting. So those are the two things that we can start off with. Now let's look at a little bit of what I think the future might be. This is a knitting machine. This knitting machine from Stoll was a machine we worked on, and we helped them take so much money out of it that they became cheaper to buy. Their machines were cheaper to buy than the Chinese. Munro Associates doesn't like to brag it a whole lot, But at the end of the day, this is kind of important. These guys were going out of business. By the way, this is made in seconds. This little blouse or whatever the heck it is, was made in seconds on one of their machines. When we got done, they had a world-class machine and it was really wonderful. And that was great, but I had a different view. What I wanted was, I wanted them to see if they could do this. Now, this is a weave, all right? But what I wanted, something was knitted, so that I could make something that would have an unusual shape, like a sock or something like that. Take that sock, put it on foam of some kind, and then shoot around it like resin transfer molding, so that I could make odd things like a shock tower, or parts of airplanes, like landing gear and whatnot. And it would be made out of something that would be wicked strong and really, really durable. This stuff doesn't wear out. And this is what I thought could happen. Unfortunately, we wound up in a situation where the banks all decided to melt, or maybe it was COVID or one of the other natural disasters that screws up progress. And so consequently, we didn't make it happen. But at the end of the day, that machine, coupled with this, could reduce the cost on complex structural parts like this by a huge magnitude, order of magnitude. So I predicted this, or not predicted it, but I tried to sell it, tried to get it going, but the situation in the world kind of held me back a bit. This is what it looks like when you pull an extrusion. So that type of a weave would go into an extrusion machine, and this would be epoxy that would be pulled over the top of this, and you wind up with these structural members like this. So better than, or easier and more cost effective than, say, something like that with hand layups, the extrusion is a good idea, and actually in bridges they use this kind of, actually a lot of structural products, they use this kind of stuff. But that's not where I want to stop. What I want to do is show you what's currently available in the marketplace. This is a carbon fiber component that is the spring, if you like, for a crossbow. This thing is wicked strong. This is not the kind of thing that you're going to pull back by yourself. Godzilla couldn't prime this one. So the way you bring the string back is with something mechanical, something that's going to pull the string back for you. And when this lets go of a bolt, I guarantee you, whatever it hits is going to be very unlucky. This is already available and has been for years. Now, let's talk about the future. This is SMC, sheet molded compound. It comes out like this. It looks just like that, okay? And that's what you start with. And in the end, this is what you wind up with. See this very complicated component in the back? I'm not sure whose supercar body that is, but it's somebody's. And this is from CPC, and they're owned by Mitsubishi Chemical. So what you're looking at here is something that's already in production right now. Now, with this kind of a process, I can give you any shape you want. And it'll be huge one-piece products, and this is the way it works. You take this piece of material, you warm it up, you slide it under the press comes down, holds it for a little while until it cools, the press goes up, and you wind up with something like that. Here's a piece that under no circumstances could I ever make, ever in a million years make, utilizing sheet metal. It just wouldn't happen. I can't do it. There are too many sharp angles, like some of this has been cut off for sampling and whatnot, but this is what I think you're going to see as the future bodies for a lot of vehicles. They may start out at the high-end vehicles, but you know what? If this was made out of steel with this kind of strength, there's no way Sandy could pick it up with one hand and fool around with it. So, what else can I do? All right, so this is a model of the CRRC locomotive. This thing goes 300-400 miles an hour. That nose piece, they could wear those out in a few months. So we got the job of what can we do to get rid of that problem? This is carbon fiber with a layup on top of it. This didn't wear out. Now, unfortunately, we put this into the hands of CRRC sometime around 2019, which was just before COVID. But the feedback that I got was when they made the nose cone for the train, it didn't wear out. Now that was like about a year, so that would be in 2020 or 2021, about a year or so, and the thing was still working. This is kind of like what you can do if you want to have something that'll last to infinity if you want. The deal is that you can paint plastic, like what was on the what do you call it, club car precedent, or you could do this and nothing, it's impervious to pretty much anything. Okay, a serious crash maybe might give you a problem, but in essence, this is what you could get. Now, if we want to look at what the guys over at BMW did, this is the roof. This is the roof off of the BMW i3. It's pretty shiny. This is made out of scraps. These are the throwaway components that BMW took, put into a mold, injection molded or injected through resin transfer molding, epoxy over the top of, and have a look at this as far as the shine is concerned. This process, if we did it to that, these cars would everything else would die before the body had a problem. And it's using scraps. Now, I saved something for the end because this is going to shut up a bunch of people. When carbon fiber gets to be $7 a pound, $6 or $7 a pound, it's cheaper than fiberglass, equivalent to aluminum, and better than both. Why? Because you don't measure carbon fiber by the pound. You measure it by volume. We've known about this for years, but unfortunately there's a bunch of idiots that happen to have positions of authority, and they say, no, we can't use that, it's too damned expensive. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to measure carbon fiber, and so consequently, great ideas slide by them. 2004, these guys took 80% of the market share the first year it was in. 2004. And now Tesla's going to have it out in their next vehicle. 2004, 2026. Wow, that's a lot of room. 2014. And nobody's got anything quite like it yet, except for the supercars. If you want to go and have a look at a supercar, go tap, 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 and check it out. Where's it coming from? CPC and Mitsubishi Chemical from Italy. That's where it's coming from. Why isn't it here? Well, you don't, let me tell you. As soon as I hear, let me tell you, I know it's time for me to pack my bag and get the hell out, because you can't tell a moron. It just doesn't work. You can't tell a moron. So I'm telling you right now that I'm right, and what the future holds for us is something that looks like this, which Chery is already doing. A one-piece casting for a car that small that is possible. And Idra, I'm sure, could help you out if you want a press that does it, and if you need the molds to go along with it. I highly recommend you go with a puzzle mold, which lasts 3 times as long. Costs twice as much, but it lasts 3 times as long. Purchasing agents that are out there that are going to say Sandy's full of shit, okay, that's fine. But if you pay for 2 molds when you could have got one for free, then kind of you should think about what the future truly holds for productivity, high usage, and basically it just gives you a better product if you use a puzzle mode. So this is the kind of stuff that we have to start talking about. Now, did I get any money from Hydra? No. Did I get any money from CPC? No. Did I get any money from what do you call them? Co-Stamp? No. Why? Because I don't need the money. I need people to do things faster. I'm old. I'd like to see this stuff get into the business. So that's kind of impassioned. Maybe I should tone it down a bit. But at the end of the day, folks, what you're looking at here is a glimpse of the future. Somebody has to do something. A good idea all by itself just dies. There's tons of good ideas that were never implemented in the life of the inventor. And then later on, somebody goes on, picks it up, pats themselves on the back and says, oh, look what I did. Well, that's not invention, that's not innovation, that's just shit luck. What I'd like to see you guys do is get out there and actually do something. I've given you what I'd normally charge for. Get out there and do something. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.